because it's Tuesday evening and we enjoy Tuesday evenings because we get to speak to everybody. And that's about our favorite topic, which is intellectual property. So, hi, Shalini.
Hi, Priggya. Hello, everyone. And there's nowhere else I'd rather be on Tuesday at 8 p.m.
Yes. So, I hope all our viewers are also enjoying as much as we enjoy being here. So, Shalini, today we'll discuss about international trademark filings,
Yes,
and a lot of stuff is happening around for around trademarks in our lives. So let's discuss the topic so that people get to know about international trademarks and how they operate.
absolutely, absolutely. I think in today's day and age, personal branding has become a, um almost a sine qua non. You can't escape it. Like when if you go onto LinkedIn or you go onto social media, the entire conversation is about how to build your personal brand.
Yeah.
And since we are now a global village, I think we should talk about international trademark filing. So along with your personal branding, we should talk about trademark, and with trademark we should talk about international trademark. So that's why we are here talking about your brand, your asset, which is I think your strongest asset.
Yes. Shalini, like this is what how I see trademarks as, like when we are born as human beings, our parents keep our name. Similarly, when we do something, we keep name of our child, and that name become very important to us because we have kept that name of the child. And in very rare situations, people would like to change the names or do anything with the name.
Yeah.
So I think we have to be very careful when we are doing that stuff, and uh, taking into account a lot of factors when we have just starting in the initial stages.
Absolutely. I have actually two trademarks to my name.
Wow. Which are?
Uh, the first one is SimSim, which is my first company's name. And I faced a lot of flack for calling my legal and business advisory as SimSim. Because people thought it sounded like a toy shop. Some people thought it sounded too frivolous. It didn't have law or legal or lex or any of those Latin words that are related to law. And I did that on purpose. I called it Sim Sim from Aladdin and the 40 Thieves, where you say Khulja Sim Sim or open sesame. And it's supposed to open up a treasure, like a cave full of
Treasure.
treasure. And that's
Yeah.
why, and also because my initials are SM, so I wanted something with SM, and I didn't want to call it SM law or SM legal, so I made it SMSM, so it became SimSim.
Wow.
And the second one is, now I don't know what is happening to it, but it's filled up because I was working on a patent on patents. So um, so that's something else is cooking with that. So that's not granted yet.
So
But I got
even
SimSim.
lawyers have face issues with their trademark.
Oh yes. But mine is only in India. I haven't applied abroad because SimSim is only offering services in India largely,
Yeah.
and we don't have a US presence or
Yeah.
a presence in any other country. Even though we do work for clients from other countries, we don't have a physical presence. So I didn't file it in other countries. But I think Filda, I might go the Madrid route.
Yeah.
So what
So
is the
yeah.
benefit of Madrid?
So I think a few weeks back we discussed about global patent filing. So it is a structure which operates in a similar way, not exactly the same way, but a similar way, where if we file a Madrid application, we get an opportunity to choose the number of countries where we can proceed with a trademark application just from one single application.
Mm,
So I think it is cost effective because we don't, in at least in the initial stage, we do not have to hire attorneys in each and every country and then ask them to file the application. it is faster too, because if we choose a country one by one, it will take a lot of time, a lot of efforts and money. So these are a few benefits, and we have to keep in mind that if we are going for a Madrid application, it has to be filed within 6 months from the first application that we have filed in our country. Otherwise, we can do the direct Madrid filing also,
Mm.
but for that, at least we need to choose our base country, and for
Sure.
that, con- in the base country, the application is required.
Yeah. And what happens if the base application is rejected or not granted?
So, I think, Shalini, these are the applications which proceed in different countries.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
examination happens in each and every country. So,
absolutely.
I think it is a ground, very valid ground for objections, but it may get cleared also based on laws of those country, and based
Mhm.
on which grounds we have received the examination report in that country.
Mm. Right.
Yeah.
Correct. That was a trick question.
Yeah, that was a trick question. But I think lawyers, because they know the law, they can apply it somehow to answer it. So we have a listener with us. Hello, good evening, dear professional patent attorney women. Yeah, so Michelle or Michael. I so they are sending us just hi from Italy. Very nice to hear
Hi,
from you. Thank you so much for joining our LinkedIn live.
Michelle.
Yes. Hi,
Okay.
Mish.
Ooh,
Okay.
from Sardinia. Hi, Michelle.
Yes. So, Shalini, yeah, we were discussing about international trademarks.
Yeah, and I think in India we don't require to prove consistent use.
Yeah,
Once we file it, and let's say we are claiming a priority date, then we do have to file in an affidavit in support of use.
correct.
But we don't have to show repeated affidavits or proof of use. But in other countries, that does come up. I think in Russia and US, you have to show periodic
Yeah.
statements in support of use. So I think those rules we need to take into account when we are coming from a country such as ours.
Correct. And I have seen some jurisdiction where the user affidavit is not required, or, we cannot claim a prior user date. So that was very surprising
Wow.
for me. I think Australia, New Zealand, I don't remember the country, but I saw that while filing the trademark application, there was no option of like, they do not ask for a priority date or propose to be used, they just ask for trademark and its details. So that was also surprising.
Okay. Okay. But okay, so I guess it's not a TRIPS mandatory requirement asking for
Yes,
use.
yes,
It's just one
yes.
of those add-on things.
Yeah, I
What
think.
is,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
I think that these, like, local, based on local laws only, they must have decided, because, as we feel objections in patents, which is first to file, first to invent, to do away with that, they must have came up with the concept of the user date.
Yeah. So, okay. So I think we can choose, can we choose then a country that does not have, can, as a national of India, can I choose another country as my home, as my base
Home.
application?
So I think, again, it depends on the law, but local laws in most of the countries would require at least address of service should be of that particular country.
Yes,
So
yes.
if we are claiming, for example, we are filing a base application in Australia, then address of service of
Mhm.
Australia would be required. At least that is the minimum criteria which most of the countries have. I cannot say who all of the countries have, because
Mm.
I haven't gone through laws of each and every country, but most of
Sure.
the country, they require that the address of service of the applicant is of
Mm.
that country.
Yeah. But I think the basic laws remain the same as in our Section 9 and Section 11, which is it should not be indicative of goods of the goods or services. It should not be geographical indication. It should not clash with an existing mark
Correct.
or with a well-known mark. So those rules don't change. Those remain the same throughout.
Correct. So it has to be arbitrary. There should not be likelihood of confusion and all this.
Okay. Okay. Michelle says, I don't speak English, but only Italian and Spanish, and therefore I could not participate in this very interesting discussion. Michelle, I can manage broken Spanish, so if you want to give it a try, uh, yo hablo español un poco. If you
Yeah.
want to, if you want to type in your comment in Spanish, I can still give you the answer in some
English.
language.
Or mixed Spanish and
Spanglish.
wow, that's a
In
good terminology. You should file a trademark on this.
no, actually, it's how we have English.
Yes.
They have Spanglish is a known thing, like a mixture of half Spanish, half English. Okay. So I think it's the same thing. What happens, the procedure is the same. What happens between filing your application and what happens between registration, your
Correct.
filing, examination, um, advertisement, opposition period, and finally with the registration and the number of years that the protection is granted for. Number of years, I think 7 is the minimum, so it can vary between 7 and 10,
Correct.
but otherwise the procedure is pretty much the same.
I think procedure is pretty much the same, just the timelines are very different because uh, for us, we need to reply to the examination report within 1 month. There are countries
Within 1 month.
where examination reply has to be filed within 12 months. There are
Okay,
countries which provide opposition period of 12 months. We provide opposition period of 4 months.
4 months.
So I think the laws are very varied in this
Yeah,
regard.
and I think it helps if you just go and speak to an attorney from every country, because this is something that we work on a daily basis in whichever jurisdiction we are in. And and okay, I think she's given her
Number.
number. I'm
Probably
going
I'll
to I'm going
try
to
calling
note it
her
down.
after this.
Huh?
You can try calling her after this.
Yeah. I'm always
Oh,
looking for someone to practice my Spanish in.
perfect. So yeah, so Shalini, we were discussing about Madrid. So yeah, I wanted to add one aspect here. What was it? It slipped through my mind. uh, uh, it was regarding, yeah, when we file Madrid application, like I was telling you about address of service. Similarly, yeah, when we reply to the examination report, is it mandatory to hire a local attorney or okay, and now I remember what I wanted to say. That the WIPO filing portal in itself is very useful for at least the timelines and things like that, because at least the first examination report of each and every country gets forwarded through WIPO. So when it is received in your email ID, you'll have an attachment which would say that okay, the timeline to reply to this examination report is these many months, or the last date to reply to this examination report is this. So we can get a whole idea that why when we need to reply to the examination report. So I think why using the WIPO portal or the Matrid portal in itself is very helpful. And we lost Shalini there. Okay, that's all right. Yeah. Next thing that I wanted to add is like okay, Shalini is back. So Shalini, yeah. So
Yeah,
I was
sorry
just
about
saying
that.
that WIPO using WIPO portal is like when we use the WIPO portal for filing and we receive examination reports from that portal. What happens is the examination reports come to us in our inbox. So in the examination report, we get PDF. So each and every examination report gets forwarded through Vipo. That's why it's easier to check for the timelines from that email itself. So I think that
Yes.
is also very useful. Like, we should first put the deadline. Okay, the last date to file to this response is this. If you have 6 months, then you can find a local attorney in
Yeah.
that country and proceed with filing of the response.
Yep. Yeah. And I think what was the previous thing you were talking about? Examination report?
Yeah, I think it was the same thing. Like I was
Ah,
just
okay.
telling that regarding the timeline, sometimes we say that, okay, we need to speak to the local attorney, but at least the timeline we should have in mind so that we are clear that we have these many months to file the reply and we can strategize accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that once India signed up to the Madrid Protocol, I think it simplified a lot of things in the sense uh, of reduction in paperwork
Yeah.
and being able to reach, and also work coming into local attorneys. And I think that was a positive thing that of signing up to the Madrid Protocol.
Yeah, absolutely. I
But
think.
and also we got rid of our earlier classification. I don't know if you were there at
Yeah.
the time. There used to be a different classification system, and then it went across the board. It became niche classification, which made life so much easier, because even though the old system was still in accordance with niche, but there was still a separate website you had to access.
Correct.
And so
Absolutely.
once it became niche class throughout, it just made life so much simpler.
I understand this because whenever like we access the older applications for something like oppositions, rectifications, and things like that, we get to see so many forms, the older forms that were present in the Trademarks Act, and we know how much hassle it would be managing those. I think it was some over 100 forms in our Patents Act before. I don't remember the
No,
number, but
no,
there.
not 100. There was about 60 or 70 forms were there.
Yeah, 60 to 70
And
forms.
you had to file form 1 in 3 copies. You had to file 3 copies of form 1. There was the
I
form 1 and a representation sheet, and then form 1 and represent. So,
So when I started my firm, my ex boss, he told me that, Prigya, for you things are so easy. You have to just sit and file the applications on the portal. When we started, we had to go to the trademark registry, file it by hand, and one
yeah.
signature missing, we'll come back and then go again.
And I remember we used to cut the like we used to take printouts of the device, and we used to cut it out and paste it on all the representation sheets. Oh gosh, that was a different. It feels like a different lifetime altogether.
Yeah.
But I think I caught the end of that,
Hmm.
last 2 3 years of that, and I was right there when the digital filing started. So I got the DSE and the first application filed from my law firm where I used to work earlier. I ran around and got all that done because I said I was so excited about it. And
Wow,
the
that.
Madrid Protocol orientation session also.
Yeah. I was in my, I think, final year when it changed. So the time we started practicing, we were practicing this trademarks.
Mm. All right. Do we have any other points for Madrid other than the fact that it makes life super convenient?
Yeah, it makes it super useful, it's super easy. Yeah, one more thing, it is linked to in many countries it is linked to the local portal itself. For example, if I want to file a base application, I can use the IP India portal only to file a Madrid application
Yes.
also. So I don't need to create a one account here, one account in Madrid, file it separately and manage all the hassles. So it is super convenient in that sense also. For example, if you are a citizen of Australia, you can use IP Australia, you can file your trademark application using IP Australia, and
Right.
then file a Madrid application also using IP Australia.
Yes. So everything gets done in the same portal.
Yeah.
Uh, where are there are a couple of countries that are not in the Madrid Protocol,
Yes.
and I forget which ones they are.
I know South Africa is one of it. South Africa, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is one of it.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, so we recently did a filing there, and we got to know that that is not a matter. So we filed it separately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I think finally, your the recordal of changes, everything is carried out centrally.
yeah,
So whatever, if you have a subsequent proprietor or you have a licensing deed or assignment, transmission, whatever, everything gets updated centrally.
correct. So WIPO has
So
made our life very, very easy by giving us Madrid protocol and filing portal.
yes, and of course, let's not forget PCT.
Yeah, PCT. Then we have Hague Convention too, but we need to
Yes,
discuss them separately.
yes, we'll discuss them separately. We have a year full of Tuesdays ahead of us.
A life full of Tuesdays,
A
I
life
mean.
full of Tuesdays. All right, Prigya, anything else you'd like to add or give a closing statement?
So for closing statement, I'll just say that if you are thinking about trademarks, first think like what is the mark you want to register, then get it done in your base. Just file it in your base country using that. If you are thinking of going international, file it in the countries where you think you'll be launching your business using the Madrid protocol, and yeah, and if required at a later stage, you may have to hire an attorney to address to the examination report. If there is no examination report, the process in itself is very, very seamless.
Right, perfect.
So that's all from my side. Shalini, do we end?
Yes, I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Yeah. See you guys next Tuesday. Thank you for joining. We'll come back again with an interesting topic on IP on the Innovators Corner. See you. Bye bye.